Hi everyone, my name's Paige and I'm from Fountain Gate Secondary College.
And I'm Saeed and I go to Down High School. Today we are here with the fabulous, amazing Jen Mills. And today we're here to ask her a few questions about how she does her art and her thought process when doing it. And yeah.
Yeah, I'll kick us off. So my first question is, what is your main inspiration when creating your works?
I suppose the main, if I'm going to sort of, get it down to look like one, would be to tell stories. So all of my drawings tell stories, whether they tell stories together or individually.
What was like developing your passion for art while growing up in a particular environment or community?
Ever since I can remember, I was a nerdy little kid that loved drawing and I really wanted a horse. And I just drew horses all the time, like just copied and copied. And whenever you practice something, you get really good at it. And I had books and books. So I don't come from a family of artists, but I have the women in our family were always like, they always knitted, they were very creative, they sewed. And so I think it just finds that creative outlet for me was dreaming of having a horse and practicing, and then it sort of evolving into art's the subject at school that I'm good at.
My second question would be, did you notice much art around you growing up, and how did it influence you to do what you do today?
So I grew up in an outer suburb. It was a new school, so it had only been the primary school and the high school that I went to had only just sort of started. Lots of young families had moved into the area, and it was pretty much bushland past our house. And the art around me, my mother was very interested in film and watching movies and cinema, and she read a lot of books, and she had art books, so she was interested in things. So it really was mum. In high school it was a lot different. I got a lot more support and we went on excursions to the National Gallery. And then going to art school was just, again, being in an environment with just all art people around you, all the kids that were interested in art. Because it really is a fantastic way to kind of, get the skills and find people around that are kind of interested in the things and share information with you.
Who are your favourite artists?
It goes in waves, but I regularly fall in love with lots of people's work, but I try and block out. A long time ago, I just decided to make work that I liked and not worry about if other people, and we all worry about other people not liking our work, but I probably worried more about it as a younger artist than honestly now. I don't. I just do whatever I want, and I've been very lucky that some people like it and come along for the journey as well.
So how did you get over, the people, you worrying about what people thought about your work?
It took me a long time. I think I put a lot of expectation on myself to be like whatever I thought was successful. I just burned out a little bit and I stopped drawing, and then I started doing the animals. I started to think back to what I loved, and that first work of the animals, which is in this show. And it was about, just trying to reconnect to what it was I loved about drawing. And as soon as I sort of stopped worrying about what I thought I should be making, what I thought was cool, or what I thought was, clever, it's like, this makes me really happy. I really love drawing. And so I just kept drawing.
So Jen, how do you, decide whether you're going to frame your work or not frame it, and how do you go about that presenting?
Yeah, it's a good question. You'll see some of the work in the exhibition is unframed and some of it is framed. I think, my preference would be, because paper is fragile and some of the materials that I use are fragile, so the paper will damage. So framing is a way to protect paper because it is fragile. Like this work behind us is 60 individual drawings, and the framing would take away from the fact that it's one drawing. So this is one work, even though it has 60 individual drawings. So that becomes an aesthetic that I don't want to take away from the drawings. But I think when it's one individual drawing and it's standalone, then I'm thinking about the protection of the drawing more than anything.
Well, we have our last final question and make sure everyone's listening. Do you have any words or advice or encouragement for people who are passionate about art and want to pursue it seriously?
I can't imagine my life without art, and it's not an easy journey. I would tell my younger self it's not an easy journey, but it's just so it rewards the soul, and it's what my identity is. And if you really want it, you need to follow that kind of path. Where I would like to go back and tell my younger self is just to not be so hard on myself, not expect perfection, and just, know that there's going to be ups and downs, and that's part of the journey, and try and kind of cut out the noise, because you're never going to please everybody. There's a lot of people that don't like my work, who don't get it, who aren't interested in it. That's fine. That's why you walk into an art gallery, or like the National Gallery, and there's such variety and breadth, and there's a place for your voice. There's no such thing as this. There's lots of room.
I want to say, hopefully that answers a lot of people's questions that they have. Do any questions, Paige?
No, I think that's all from us, but thank you so much, Jen. It's been a pleasure, and you're such an inspiration to anyone who's watching and interested in art, and we've loved to hear from you and about your processes, so thank you.
Thanks, Sayed.
We get to nitpick and kind of pick the brain of Jen Mills here. But thank you very much. Appreciate it.